Next up is Gillian Tans, who is ranked high on Fortune's Most Powerful Women's list. She is the chairwoman of Booking.com, one of the world's leading digital travel companies. It was founded in 1996 in Amsterdam. It's grown from a small startup to a company with revenue of $7.5 billion each year, and offers services in 43 languages, and according to my notes, over 200 countries. I say according to my notes because I thought there were only 197 countries, so she seems to be operating in more countries than we have. We'll ask her about that. And here's your random fact of the morning. 7 guests per second check into a place to stay on Booking.com. The company is also at the forefront of innovative AI solutions to create a better customer experience, a more robust business model, and they believe a better world. Please join me in welcoming Gillian Tans. Thank you. Take the far one. Gillian, thank you so much for being here with us. You have a fascinating business. I think most people are familiar with the bookings business, but what they may not know is that you've also invested heavily in Didi, nearly $500 million, Meituan, and Grab, which makes me wonder, what are you building here?
What we are building? No, I think if you go back to Booking.com and China, for instance, I think we already started working in China almost a decade ago. If you think about travel, and technology companies in travel, they cross borders a lot quicker just because of the nature of travel. And I think we started in China. Many Chinese travelers really use Booking.com to travel overseas. Mm-hmm. And we've learned very quickly that our motto was being globally scalable but locally relevant. But in China, that even had a different meaning. And localization, we had to take it to the next level, which meant that we had to think about partnerships, but also we had to think about creating our own business unit, which we have in China today. And these partnerships started off with Ctrip, for instance, because that's not the biggest investment we have is in Ctrip. And then
and Ctrip is in a very similar business, right?
Correct.
Booking hotels, yes. etc.
Yeah, so we've partnered with Ctrip, and later on we partnered with Didi and also with Meituan.
But that suggests that you're going well beyond hotel bookings, that you want to control the transportation, the entertainment, the food, the whole travel ecosystem.
Well, if you think about travel and the connected trip, I think many customers today who want to take a big trip, you need so many elements, and that's why you see a lot of more cooperation in travel as well. Yeah. Because you need each other to really build this connected trip for consumers. And I think the work we're doing with Grab, for instance, is a good example where we can actually deliver transportation and ride-hail services in a lot of Southeast Asian countries. And also Grab can actually showcase properties to their consumers. So these corporations are really valuable. Because many people don't know, right? Many people don't know if they arrive at an airport in a certain destination, how is the best way to get from the airport to my accommodation? Sometimes it's better to take the train if you arrive in Tokyo, for instance, and sometimes it's better to take a taxi, etc. So, and that's something that we are very involved in trying to solve for consumers.
So when you think about it that way, the connected travel with all the different pieces tied in together, who is your competition? I mean, are you competing with Didi? Are you competing with Grab? Are you who do you, in your mind, when you wake up in the morning, who is it you think you have to beat?
Yeah, I mean, there's many companies out in travel, right? I think if you think on a global level, then probably Expedia is the biggest company out there on such a global scale. But in China, you also have Ctrip, who is very powerful, of course, here in China. You have Traveloka in Indonesia. You have Make My Trip in India. So you see there's many companies all over the world that are very active in travel. And I mean, if you think about it, travel is almost 10% of global GDP. So it's a huge industry. Yeah. So people tend to forget about that. So.
And what do you think is your secret weapon for winning in that battle?
Our secret weapon, if you think about it, we've built I think, the most global business. If you think about our inventory, we have 29 million listings on Booking. I think if you think about the breadth of selection, we've managed to build that farthest globally than anybody in the world. Also, if you think about the customer experience and how much effort every day we still keep putting into making sure we keep improving our products for customers. We do probably the most experiments every day than any technology company out there. That's how fast we innovate for consumers. And then there's the quality of service, right? The expectations of customers, and you see that specifically in Asia as well, is very high. So we need to make sure we keep delivering on that. And that's, I mean, Booking has always been extremely focused on consumer and keeps measuring through data if we're actually doing the right thing. And that we are taking further and further.
I want to come back to that in a minute, but you talked about the global reach of Booking.com. I said in the introduction that you're in more than 200 countries, and I didn't know there were that many countries. Maybe I should ask you, where aren't you?
Yeah, I think we're one of the most global businesses out there. We actually count countries and territories. That's why this number is more than the countries there are in the world. But we operate in every country in the world because...
Is there any place you can't operate?
Well, we can't operate in Cuba, for instance.
Cuba, yeah.
Because we're an American listed company. So that, for instance, is where we're not today.
Yeah, but that's it, pretty much?
Yeah, that's it. There's a few areas where we don't operate.
How big is your business in China these days?
Yeah, it's a very important market for Booking.com. We don't give out specific numbers. But as you can imagine, it's a high growth market for us as well. If you think about that, we started off in China so early on, and many Chinese customers use Booking to travel outside of China, but also now we're building up more and more of our business in China. And you see a lot of inter-Asia connections that we are facilitating today.
Can you talk about size as a share of your total business?
Yeah, no, we don't give out these numbers.
Even this is a small group. You're among friends.
But it's also being filmed. So.
AI. You're investing. You said you were investing heavily in technology to do what?
Yeah, if you think about, like I spoke about this experimentation culture and how data plays such a crucial role in making sure we understand where to innovate for consumers, then actually, if you take the connected trip into account, then to be able to do that well, you need to do more personalization. And because otherwise it's almost impossible to bring that all together and make sure you can deliver the most perfect trip for a certain consumer. Then if you think about machine learning, AI plays a crucial role in that. And since Booking always has been so extremely data-driven, the step into machine learning we have been doing for many years. Every customer touches machine learning today somewhere through the funnel, and even AI, we predict that probably in the upcoming years 50% of customers will touch AI somewhere as well. So you see that these technologies are becoming very important for the future, and the innovation where also Booking can deliver much more to consumers. And if you think about it, today we can recommend destinations to customers, which you can't do if you wouldn't have these data sets.
Is it based on your knowledge of the individual customer? How much do you, if I come to the site, how much do you know about me?
Well, we know from customers if they have used Booking before, right? And there's also data that we use from a larger group of customers, right? Yeah. So Booking is, with data concerned, quite straightforward. We only use data from customers to make the experience better on Booking. We don't do anything else with data. We don't buy data from somewhere else. So it's pretty straightforward in that sense.
But since you measure this so carefully, how big a difference does personalization make in your ability to turn a visit to Bookings.com into a booking?
Extremely, and you already see that today in destination recommendations, in suggestions for accommodations to consumers. You and I will see a different type of product already today. You will see it in the pictures that we can show to consumers as to what they're interested in. Review data might be different because of what you need to know. So that even customer service and how we expect customer service flows, and that's all based on data. Translations, I think we translate 2.2 billion words already through machine translation. So there's so many examples in booking where already machine learning plays such a big role in what we're doing.
Do you have any trouble getting the talent you need to build those algorithms?
So we have the main part of our talent, if you think about product and technology and data science, all sits in Amsterdam. We are a Dutch-originated company, so we still have our headquarters in Amsterdam. We have, for the Chinese market, we have people sitting in Shanghai who do that specifically for China. And also, we bought a company called Evature in Tel Aviv. And we built around that also machine learning and AI, an office in Tel Aviv, specifically focused on that.
You have a technology background yourself, right?
No, I don't.
You do not?
No.
But you have had a big commitment to diversity at the company, including making sure a large part of your technology workforce is female.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how you did that?
Yeah, so Booking.com actually from the start has been a very diverse company on many fronts, right? We have 140 nationalities working at Booking.com. In total, we have over 50% women working at Booking.com. We've always felt that, if you want to make sure that you're successful in innovation, and if you want to make sure you build the best culture out there, diversity is crucial, and diversity needs to be in your core values. And that's what we've always been focusing on our technology part. We have 20% women. Even though that is already okay, it's still not where we want it to be. And we have 30% of women in our leadership community. So these are still not two numbers that we would like to get up. And we focus a lot internally, but we realize that we also need to work externally to get these numbers up. So we do several initiatives. We do mentorship programs at big tech conferences, for instance. I just came from the Web Summit in Lisbon, where we do on-site mentorships, and we have a big Women in Technology lounge. And this year there were 46.3% women. So that also shows...
At the summit?
Yeah, and there's 70,000 people there. That shows that there is interest more and more from women to start working in technology companies. So that makes me really happy. And second part what we do is there's not enough role models out there. And that really is a problem, because if women don't see other women succeeding, then it's a different step to make. So we have...
How about in your Shanghai operation?
Yeah, well, we have, she's sitting here, Marcia Ma, who's leading our China business unit, a very powerful woman. So, yeah, we have many women here operating in China.
Bookings.com has also made green travel a priority. I saw you had a recent partnership with Prince Harry. What is green travel? Yeah,
so go back to the mission of Booking.com. The mission of Booking is really to help people to experience the world. Yeah. And very early on, when we defined this mission, we said we also need to make sure that we make the world a place where generations to come can keep exploring the world. And that's when we started working on our whole program within Booking for Sustainable Tourism, which started first with our own employees and their time. They were dedicating to improving the destinations all over the world. And then we said, okay, what else can we do to have a bigger impact? So we basically developed a program which is called the Booking Booster, which every year we select 10 startups all over the world that are active in sustainable tourism that we basically help growing. So their footprint actually gets bigger. And it brings our passion for technology together with our passion for sustainable tourism.
And is there big demand for sustainable tourism these days?
It's enormously, and that's what I keep saying to everybody. We do a lot of, how you say it? Something, that's a jet lag. Research. We do a lot of research with consumers. And we've seen on our latest research that 71% of consumers, they want travel companies to offer them sustainable choices. Yeah. But what you see happening is that today consumers don't always know what is a sustainable choice, or even an accommodation partner will not always know what do I need to do to become more sustainable. So there's still a lot of work to do in even doing that well, and that's also when we realized that only with Booking.com it will be very difficult to do this. And that's why, together with the Royal Foundation, we formed Travelist, which has travel companies together to see how we can actually define these type of standards and make
The problem, of course, is the largest part of the carbon footprint of any trip is the airplane ride.
Air, yes, correct.
You can't do much about that.
No. Well, today, I mean, there's a lot happening in air as well, but for booking that will be more complicated because we don't operate airplanes, or we don't.
It's not your business.
Well, we have the first pilot with air, but.
But you're in so many other businesses. Maybe you should invest in an airline and see if you can tackle that one too. I want to open it up for questions or comments if anybody has them. Can I get a show of hands? Yes, go ahead.
Just very curious to because as family.
I'm sorry. Please introduce yourself to Gillian before you.
Okay, sorry. I'm Henry from Moseeker. So, as family member, actually, my wife used a lot of booking, heavy user. However, my personal favorite is Airbnb. And in China, we actually, as company leader, we work with Xiechen, Airbnb. Not booking yet, but the question to you is when I hear about your future strategy to really combine the travel, trip, and accommodation into one package, but that's bring a lot of question for me, because the trip between the airport to the accommodation are relatively standardized, and for accommodation for different purposes, it's kind of related to the personal favorite, and everyone has their own taste. So I just want to hear out from you as booking, when you're let's say, made your plan for the strategy. What's your future differentiation to differentiate yourself from the other competitor, and to providing at the end, it's for business trip, or it's for family trip, or it's for everything?
Good set of questions.
Very good question. So let me start off with the alternative accommodations, Airbnb. Booking.com already today, like I said, we have 29 million listings, and we have, if I'm not mistaken, 6.7 million listings in the alternative accommodations, apartments, home, and anything else in between. So we are very active in this space. Accommodations today is still a huge focus of Booking.com. We're still growing the amount of listings, and you see in many countries in Asia, you see that is still a segment which is coming online. Many people are putting their homes online. I've just been to India, where you see that enormously growing with farm stays, for instance. So this has a focus of Booking, and I think it's a big differentiator of Booking. If you think about having all of these diversity in accommodations, we have 30 categories on Booking today, which our customers can book, and we keep growing into the future. But besides that, I think we realized that the differentiator as well is building this connected trip. And building a connected trip is not through cross-sell, just saying, okay, you can book a flight and you can book an accommodation, or you can book a car, but it's really making sure that it's integrated. And we've done a lot of experimentation when people arrive in the destination, and what help they still need today. We all think that customers know where to go, but today they don't know when they travel to a country which is unfamiliar for them. I don't know if this answers your question.
Can you just do just a little bit more on the difference between the connected trip and cross-selling? I mean, on Expedia, when you book your hotel, you book your airline, you book your hotel, you book your car.
Yeah.
But you're talking about something different.
Yeah, it's a bit different, because cross-sell has been out there for a long time. That is not new, but this is something that Booking could have done already a long time ago, to put all of these segments online. But we feel that if you want to build a truly good experience for customers, it needs to be more integrated, because I think you realize yourself, if you want to take a long trip, it takes an enormous time to either plan and get everything booked. And that's actually where the friction that is still out there, that we're trying to reduce that time and make it much more efficient for consumers to do that. And we'll take it in steps. But we already took steps. We offer attractions for customers in 180 destinations. We have transportation now in over 300 destinations. So you see that we are growing these type of products for customers.
Gillian, you know a lot about customer travel preferences. That's what your scientists do. That's what they study. That's what your data is on. Look 10 years in the future and tell us something that will surprise us about what travel is going to be like.
10 years. Well, I always say that ideally you will get 2 trips in front of you, and you can just choose, and then everything will be planned and booked. And that, I mean, that basically systems know where you like to travel, what you like to do, and that actually you don't need to think about that anymore, because I think in travel with technology there's still a lot to gain because of the complex nature of travel.
Fascinating vision. We hope you make it there. Thank you for making it here.
Thank you.